All right, so this video is going to help you guys understand the Neuroscience and Technology station. So this is Neuroscience and Technology. So all the information for the presentation that you could do with the poster and everything, that's going to be in a document I sent to you. If you haven't gotten that document for whatever reason, here's my email. You can pause this video and just shoot me a quick email that says, I didn't get the document and I need it, yada, yada, yada. So basically what you're going to do for this station is you're going to do the presentation, kind of talk to them about various techniques in neuroscience and technology, and then you're going to use what's called the human-human interface to actually show them one technique. So that's this thing right here, and I'll kind of show you how to set it up. But basically, what it is it's an example of what's known as functional electrical stimulation, sometimes called FES. Right? So functional electrical stimulation is going to involve stimulating directly a muscle group or a nerve that you're attempting to use to cause a movement that's been lost due to some kind of damage. Right? So this is going to kind of show you how functional electrical stimulation works. So this is the circuit board. Right? So this is kind of where all the wires will connect to each other. So it has two main ports. So it has, and you don't need to know anything about engineering to understand what I'm talking about right now. It's just an orange thing that you'll see when I show you the actual circuit board. And it's connected to an orange wire. Goes like this. At the end of the orange wire, there's three little alligator clip things that look like this. Two red and one black. So this is going to be the controller. So what's going to happen is one person's going to connect these three electrodes to their muscle, and I'll show you exactly where in the video. But when they flex their muscle, that electrical activity coming from calcium release in their muscle fiber is going to be sent through this wire to the circuit board. Right? And that person who flexes their muscle, they're the controller. They're generating the electrical activity. And we also have another port in here that I'll show you exactly where it is. But it connects to two different things. So it connects to something called the TENS device, and it connects to two electrodes, one red and one black. And I'll show you where to place those electrodes. But essentially, it's going to stimulate one of your nerves in your arm that causes this muscle contraction, right? So I can't remember exactly the name of it, but essentially what you're doing is you're sending information from one person flexing their muscle through the circuit board, and it's going to send information to this person who is the controlled. So this person is the controller. They create the electrical activity. This person is the controlled, and they receive the electrical activity. So what's going to happen is when one person flexes their muscle, the other person is going to experience that muscle contraction. So they like to say you're taking away their free will. This TENS device, which I'll show you how to work, it just controls the amplitude of this so you don't send way too much electrical activity to their arm to where it hurts. So I'll show you the safe range in which you can do that. And it should all be really safe and whatnot. In addition, if some people don't want to get their arm moved, sometimes people think it's a little weird, and it makes sense why. We can also do this other port, and I'll show you exactly how that works. But it connects to a robotic claw. So this robotic claw can also be moved in response to electrical activity produced by one person flexing their muscle. And that one person flexing, they're not going to feel any electricity themselves. They're just sending it to this other person. This, on the other hand, is the same. So somebody's going to flex, but instead of being rerouted to somebody else's arm, it's going to be rerouted to this claw thing that I'll show you in a sec. But so this is the presentation. It's functional electrical stimulation, where one person controls either somebody else's arm or a robot arm thing. So now I'll show you how to set up the device. All right, so here's your circuit board. Here's the orange thing that I drew. You don't need to know anything about it except that it's orange, and you plug in the orange cord to it, right? So you plug the orange into the orange, and this is going to be connected to those two red alligator clips and this one black alligator clip, right? So then what you're going to do is you're going to take electrodes like this, and sometimes they get less sticky over time, and if you feel them getting less sticky, or if the thing's not really working that well, you can totally just swap them out for new ones. We'll have a bunch of new ones there at the station. Don't worry about wasting them. We go through a ton of them every time. So basically what you do is you put these electrodes on your forearm. So this is the controller. This is the person who's generating the electrical activity. So you put 2 electrodes on the forearm like that, and then you put 1 electrode on the back of the hand. This serves as the ground, so this determines, or it's either the ground or the reference, but it determines like a baseline activity so that this machine can tell that this is more activity when you flex relative to this. So what you do is you then connect the 2 red wires to it, and you connect the black to the back, and there you go. So now I'm all hooked up as the controller, and I can actually show you what that looks like. So if I take my battery here and I connect it to this 9-volt battery adapter looking thing, I'm sure you've seen one of these before, and you plug it in right here. So at the thing right next to the yellow little box. Now, every time I flex my muscle, you can see that red activity. So if I just keep going and then stop. So this is kind of how you want them to flex their muscle. You want them to go flex and then release, and flex and then release, flex and then release, and flex and then release, just like that. So then what you can do is take this other cord. This is the cord for the controller. And before you do any of this, I would suggest taking out the battery. You kind of want to put the battery in as the last thing you do, just so you make sure you're not, wasting the charge of the battery, or you could accidentally cause too much electrical discharge if you put the battery in too soon, which you shouldn't worry about. It's just something I always do. But you connect this little white, it's got these 2 little wires, and you connect it to this black thing right here that has 2 little holes for the 2 wires. It's really obvious when you see it in person. I know it might be kind of tough to see in the video, but you plug it in, doesn't matter which direction, and then you take your TENS unit. Basically what this does is it just controls the amplitude and duration of that electrical activity, so the stimulation. So you plug it in. I would plug it into the left side. For whatever reason, the left side works a little better. And then when you open it, you can kind of see there's these dials. So you see when I turn it on, it's green. It's not connected to anything yet, so it doesn't really matter what amplitude it's at. But I would keep it off while you set it up. You take these last 2 electrodes, you place one right kind of there. Anywhere around here will be fine. I don't know if you can, that's best pick. So right there. And then you put the other one right here. So there's a good view of it, like that. Then what you do is you take the red electrode and you put it on the front one. and you take the black electrode and you put it on the back one, like that. You can see that? Okay. And then you take your tens unit, make sure you're adjusting the dial on the side that's connected to the wire, and then you just slowly turn it up. And I would say the safe range is never go past 5 on this thing. You know, it wouldn't be too dangerous. You know, it's not like we're risking somebody getting seriously injured, but it's just good to like make sure you're not causing anyone too much discomfort, because we want this to be a fun experience. And again, if anyone ever says like, you know, if they say, oh, this is way too uncomfortable, I don't want to do it, obviously don't force them. You know, I don't think you will, but just want to make sure I say that. So turn it up, and I'm going to turn it up to around 3. And what you'll start to see if all these electrodes stay on is that when I flex my muscle, I need to put the battery in. Make sure you put the battery in when you do this. In fact, turn this off first. Put the battery in, and then turn it up. So I'm going to turn it up to 3 again. And what you're going to see is every time I flex my muscle, it causes my muscles to contract on the other side. All right. So it's pretty simple. And if it's not working on somebody, some people, for whatever reason, it just doesn't work. I don't really know why. It's just kind of an anomaly sometimes. What else? Oh, right. And then if people want to see it, but they don't want to actually use the thing, they don't want to be stimulated, which makes total sense because some people just get freaked out by it. You can take all this, so take this little wire out, kind of put all these electrodes to the side, you don't need them. And then you take out your robot claw thing. So this is fun. So what you do is you attach this to the 3 little, see those 3 things right there? So those right there. You attach that plug to those. And it says on the device where the yellow wire should be. So you should always follow that. So if and you'll just have to look at it when you see it. But it goes like this. So if you're looking at it from this angle, the yellow's on the left, right? So now what I can do is, if these stay attached, every time I flex my muscle, oh, right. Also, this one needs another battery because it needs, like, the device itself needs a power source. So then if you connect this battery to this circuit board and the other battery plug, every time I flex my muscle, it works the robot arm like that. Does that make sense? Awesome. And it's fun to, like, you can put like a pen or something. You know, I'll put a pen on the table right here, and then you can have people, we'll have something light for you guys to try it with, but you could try to have them like pick something up with it, like that. I don't know what we'll use, but we'll figure something out, and we'll have something there for you. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks.